Alright, welcome back to Old Pa's Woodshop. This week, I think we're going to stay with the dyed finishes on this this week. They have just thrilled me to no end. So, this is a piece of maple, broadleaf Northwest maple. It's got some beautiful spalting in it. I think that's going to good, and it's going to carry all the way through to the bottom. You can see the line running across here. I think you can see it. Anyway, and it carries all the way over here, so I think that's going to make a pretty good looking bowl. So these sides aren't quite parallel, so I'm going to take and planer them down so that they're a little more parallel, so that this is going to be the top, this is going to be the bottom. All right, be back in just a second. Okay, got our center hole marked, and we're going to put a little hole in here for the wood runs through. This is going to be the bottom. This is going to be the top. This is going to be the bottom because I want all this spalting to show up down there. So that's that. I'll put this away and we'll get right onto this. Just mount it up. Now this wood's a little bit pecky, but I think it's going to be good enough to hold the woodworm. So we're going to give that a spin, turn it on. We're running at 125 RPM, and we're just going to put that on there, give it a push. Boy, it's taking that pretty easy. Okay, let her go. Off. Lock her down. Running up tight. That feels pretty good. Let's see what we can get out of that. 125 RPMs. You got a little bit of wobbliness. There's about 600. We'll start out right there and get things trued up. All right, here we go. Oh, you might notice that there's a weird grind right here. That's because I'm changing the shape of this tool, and I don't want to waste the steel that's already it's getting short, so it's harder to sharpen on the one way. I can't have that long grind on it anymore. So I'll keep it, I'm changing the grind to a more conventional grind, and I'll use it up that way. It cuts just fine. I think, no, let's just go ahead and make this. So all I'm doing here is truing it up. So this one seems to be pretty good. It's not real soft. It's not good. Oops. I need a different tool. I have to turn speed up here. I'll run about 900. You can go faster maybe. Not too bad. I like that shape. Too high. Too high, too low, too low, too low, too high. Get it right. It makes it easier in the long run. Okay. So, now I don't know if you've noticed or not, but I kind of do this one thing right now on all of my turnings. Is I always mark the center of the other side before I make my there. So I put that center hole in there now so that when I turn it around and get the insert turned out, it's all finished and ready to take the tenon off. I center up on that, and then I can just use a jam chuck or whatever, flat board with some non-skid on it to turn the tenon off. And then I'm gonna so you can use just about any tool you want to make this tenon. I kind of like to just use the parting tool. That way I can make a little bit of a flat spot there for the edge of the jaws to press onto. Anyway, let's have a quick look at this. And if we're happy with it, I'm going to go ahead and do some shear scraping on it. This is pretty soft wood right here. So as you can imagine, that is probably going to take quite a bit of scraping to get all that tear out of. And I'm not going to get too excited. I'm going to get as most of that as I can out. I'm not going to lose any sleep if I leave a little. I forgot to turn that on for a second, but anyway, here we go. We're gonna work on this little turn right here. See, that's pretty deep right there. I want to get some of that out of there. So I'll keep working on it with this little fine tuner. And I don't know if you've been watching my videos. This was a really hack job, but now I'm trying to straighten it out. I got better angles on it, and I think it's going to work right. It was working, but I think we'll just make it work righter. Removing tear out. I think we're doing pretty good with it. I think I'll try to take a little more out. Those are pretty deep. If I take more out of there, I think I've got to take another round off of this. Okay, here we go. So, and when you're using this on here, you kind of go by the sound of it. You don't want it, you want it to hear one consistent sound all the way across the surface. So as you're going across, you don't want the sound of the cut to change pitch. It wants to stay the same. In other words, to do that, you're making real even consistent pressure, or cutting surface application, you might call it, so that it doesn't add more tear out. Feels pretty darn good. This got some chatoyance going on right here, and even within, there's tear out in there, but it's so shallow and textured. It's adding to the chatoyance of the piece of wood. So it is actually, it's making it better. Now this over here is just tear out, and it's not much you can do about that. It's kind of boundaried. You can see where it's boundaried right here with this line. Anyway, let's just keep turning on it, and I'm gonna try to get this out of it here. And I'm not putting a finish on this because, you know, we're gonna do the ink thing. And yeah, when we do the ink thing, we don't want any finish on it at all, except on the inside of the bowl. Yeah, there, now we got most of that out of there, and I think I'm going to leave the rest of that alone, but I'm going to work this rim out here now and see if we can't get some of that off of there. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, let's have a look. So we got one little booger right there where that came out of. I don't know if I'm going to change that. I'll play with it a little bit. I'll play with it just a little bit. So now I'm happy with this. I'm going to say that that's going to be where I go. This is where I'll start sanding, and I'll probably start at 150 and hopefully smooth some of this out. Maybe, I don't know. No, reposition the camera where maybe you'll see a little better what's going on in here. Maybe. Nice part about this somewhat rotten wood, it kind of turns pretty easy. Here, I'll just move you over here. All right, so as you can see, we've got the hollow in there, down quite a ways. Now it's time to get this outside roughed out. I think we better have a look and see what we're doing. What do you think? Yeah, that's just about there. A little thick over here yet though, so we're going to leave this alone from now on. Yep, let me blow that out of there. This is looking pretty uniform, but it's a little too thick yet. This is just where I want it, so we're not going to do anything more there. It's just going to be from the chine down. I think the depth looks just about, well, maybe just a little bit deeper. Should go a little deeper. But we're going to cut the center down, and the sides down some. Let's see if we can get some of this cleaned up. It's kind of made for a bigger bowl. Play with this one for a while. So this is doing two things. It's gonna soak the wood down, and as it evaporates, it's gonna raise the grain. Now, probably not as much as if you'd used water and soaked her down, but it'd take water an hour and a day to dry out, and you don't want to take that long. I don't want to take that long. There's a couple things else it's going to do too. If your wood is real soft, which there is some pretty soft spots. I mean, it's not like you're going to stick your finger through it, but it's pretty soft wood. As you can see, it got the tear outs in it, and we've had a little trouble getting the tear out of that. And when it comes to taking color, it's going to take a lot more color. It's going to absorb a lot more color than the natural, the wood that's not messed up. It's not decayed. Doesn't mean use a good word, decayed. Alcohol is evaporated, and now it's going to just go over this whole thing with 320 again. And I'm going to do it by hand. And all I'm doing is looking to knock off the fuzzies or whatever. You know, anything that's lifted up, I want knocked off there. And then I'll hit it with 400. And after that, it'll be time to start figuring out what kind of color we want to do on this. We're going to do that on the inside. Okay, so and the thing about putting the shellac on the inside first is it gives a barrier layer all the way out to this edge. What I mean by barrier layer, it won't let, if I get a piece of ink on the inside, a little bit of ink on the inside, it won't penetrate. It won't penetrate into the wood. I don't want any penetration there. If I get a little ink in there and the bullseye's on there, I just wipe it off. Not a big deal. What I want though is a nice hard line around this top edge for the color to stop. And I want the inside to stay natural. So let's see what we can do about that. Okay, set that aside. That'll turn crispy hard here in about 15 minutes. All right, just gonna let that spin for a while. Close my can up here, put it away so I don't have an accident. Oops. All right, we're back. We're sanded through 400. We've raised the grain and then sanded again. So now we're going to put color on this thing. So the first thing we're going to do is put a little color in here. And we're going to go with forest green on this one. Kind of a different, well, and I'm going to try to make this a darker green than a darker color, more, what do you call it? What would you say? Prominent. You know, the grain's still going to show through it. I'm not going to try to hide the grain or anything, but this is going to be a more prominent piece, and I want to see if I can get the color to soak in a little deeper into the grain than I did the last couple times. And, you know, like I said, this is an experiment. Hopefully, well, I'm sure it's going to be fine. It's going to turn out cool. However it turns out, it's going to be cool. We're experimenting with putting dyes, and we got wood that's is going to have different absorption rates. So I don't know how that's going to finish out, but we'll see. Let's find out. Okay. So here we go. Like I say, I like to use an old sheet for putting it on. I've got a glove on because who knows what this stuff is made out of. I know it's made out of alcohol-based ink, and there, all properly mixed up there, well blended. There we go, looks good. So now I'm going to dip this. This is forest green, and I'm going to dip it in the mix there, and I'm just going to rub it on. Boy, there's not a whole lot of green to that, is there? We'll see how it goes. Let's put a little more on there. So I'm going to do this like 3 different layers of it. I'm just not going to, I'm going to put on one, let it dry for a minute, and I'm going to put some more dye in it, make it a little darker, just to see what things look like. We're not going to get, doesn't look like a whole lot of color in there, does it? It's all right, we can always make it darker. Because it's alcohol based, it just keeps going in and going in and going in, right? I don't see a whole lot of green going on there. Maybe a little. I think we're going to put some more green in there. Mix it around. Looks pretty mixed up to me. Maybe that's just me. I'll dye it again. I'm going to put some more green on it. There, so now we're showing a little green. Now we're getting some green. That's what I was after. Got grip inside. Let's see, now I put that shellac on there, I just wiped that out and it doesn't change anything. I get back to my green out here. Some more green. I don't know. I guess it'll look better when we put the finish on it. I'm not real impressed so far. Let's see how it looks. That's awfully green. Turn my middle sheet here green. There's that tear out section where there's tear out in it, and then we'll see how this green soaks up in that. Well, I'll tell you, it's not as exciting as the last two pieces, or at least not yet. We'll see what happens when we put a finish on it. It's still pretty exciting though when you spin it around and have a look. We'll let that dry. I'll be back in a little bit. Yeah, forest green. Not sure it's going to be an interesting color. We might have to change the name of it from forest green to toxic green. The way this absorbed into the softer wood, it just looks like something's growing. I don't know. We'll see when we put some lacquer on it and see how it shines up. Oh, we'll see when it shines up like. Let's see, we'll go to F1. And there you go. All right, here we are. It's the Toxic Avenger, and I call it that because of the way the deteriorated wood has taken the color. It's kind of a neon or whatever, fancy, kind of cool. Like the spalting. I really like this piece. It was a lot of fun to make. It didn't take color the way I thought it would, but it's pretty interesting, that's for sure. If you like the video, you want to hit the subscribe button, little chalice down there in the corner, left-hand corner. If you want to hit the like button, that would help me out a bunch. The more people that hit the like button is the encourages the algorithm to push my video a little further along. That's going to wrap it up for this week. Thanks for watching. Thanks to all the subscribers. I appreciate you very much. We'll see you next week.